fair play to Jeremy. He's come out and openly said it and admitted it, which is fair play to him. You know, he's been honest, and that's the best way. And I understand he's building, trying to get up. But again, you know, there should be a rule to kind of take care of this stuff instead of a rider. You know, it's also not good knowing that Jeremy Martin sat on the couch not racing when he could be, because I like watching the guy ride a bike.
I can't remember, obviously Shane McElrath last year.
Yes.
It was kind of known, but I don't think it's ever been so open that this has been the game plan. That I'm sitting out specifically so I'm not pointing myself out. It's happened before, we know it's happened, but I don't think anyone's come out in a press release and said, yeah, this is what I'm doing.
I kind of, in a way I can agree with it, you know, because his job is racing motorbikes. That's how he makes his money, that's how he feeds his family, that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's good at doing.
And if this is how he can do it...
Yeah, you know, like he just came off a third last weekend, so his value's pretty good. They know when he goes to outdoors, he's probably going to be at least top 3, possibility of winning. And as good as what he is, for him to go to a 450 team, he's not going to get a factory ride, so he's going to go on a satellite team at best. You know, like for sure I'm going to weigh my options up. My best results are going to come from Geico. You know, it's a good team. So for sure, in my opinion, I think he's done the right thing by missing it. On the other hand, you know, like he's a professional rider, getting paid to ride for a team, and he's not riding, you know, he's at home. People want to watch him race, like you said, you want to watch him race. So that side of it's quite weird, you know, and I don't know, I'm not a believer in this age rule and stuff. I think you should be able to ride whatever bike you want to ride, you know, like doesn't matter how old you are.
You did.
Yeah, like why cap it? It's the same as the GPs, you know, when you get to 23, you know, it makes the 450 class awesome to watch, but there's a lot of good riders that have had to go to enduro, stop riding altogether and do domestic championships because it's not enough seats for riders to get their deal, you know. So going back to the Jeremy Martin thing, you know, it is what it is. He's honest about it. You know, he's probably got a deal for next year with that team. He wants to stay with that team, and it is what it is. You know, like
I think he's definitely got a deal for next year, and they're going to be looking at Ferrandis points out, Sexton points out, and Shane points out as well. So they're going to be thinking open season in 250 class for
and also for the motocross. You know, they know he's a lot better outdoors than he was. You know, so you know they've obviously, you know, the sponsors involved in the team must have backed him on it, and it's what they're doing. You know, it's what they have to do.
But you don't think it's a bit weird from the team as well then? If you look at it from another side, the team have signed him for another year on 250F. So maybe there was no 450 contract, or they had a contract where if he wins that championship, he goes maybe where Sexton's going to the factory team, or they'll run a 450 satellite. So it's also strange from the team when you think about it. If they've already signed him for next year, thinking, in fact, we might have to miss a few races because he's going to get too many points. That's also strange from a team's point of view. And if you're a sponsor putting money into that team,
that's where it goes weird, I think. Like
what's going on there?
You know, like when a rider's getting paid to race motorbikes and he sat at home, it's all super weird.
Do you think that the whole situation with them racing with no crowd and what's happening to get the season done, you think that would have been a factor in it? Say, like you're saying that you like seeing him race. Do you think they would have done that if there's fans paying to go to the events to see Jeremy Martin?
100%.
Do you think?
Because I think the contract's taken over what he wants to do next year. So he's obviously gone, look, I haven't got a good 450 ride, or it's getting harder to get rides in America and everywhere at the minute. So he's probably going, you know, like, I can stay Geico, they'll keep me here because I'm a genuine potential winner, which he is. I'll get a ride. So they'll point him out. So overall, I think the team are happy with that decision. It's just kind of strange. I mean, if I went to my boss in my team and went, look, Joel's going to get too many points this weekend. We're actually going to point out these 2 races. I'm sure I'd get looked at like I'm a lunatic.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, it's kind of strange.
I think also like with Sexton going for the championship, that's kind of like, you know, like Martin was going to finish third in that championship, pretty much.
Yeah.
And, you know, with Sexton with the possibility to win it, and the coverage the sponsors will get out of that, maybe saves it a little bit as well.
It's not like they're not being represented out there, is it?
You know, it's similar to a rider being injured, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But it's not a rider's not injured.
Yeah.
You know, and for a racer even, you know, like for him, like you think about the team and stuff, but for him as a racer, like, you know, he's trained, he's put his hours in, you know, like he's trained to win these races or, you know, go for a championship, and he's had to stop it early for the sake of being able to race again next year. So I bet he's not super pumped on it either, you know, but it's obviously he's thought about it and it's the best thing, his interest. You know,
from his point of view, you've got to do what you've got to do.
Exactly, 100%. It's his job and he needs to put his food on the table, and that's the best option for him. And if his team are going to back him on it, well, like, it's a no-brainer, you've got to do it, I guess.
I'm guessing McGrath's in the same boat as well.
He's up next year.
Yeah.
No ride.
He's on a 1 year deal, McGrath.
Yeah. So he's trying hard to win that championship because Sexton sorted, he's factory Honda next year, isn't he? 450.
Yeah.
Shane's like, where are you going to go? Got to win that title.
Ferrandis is going to go factory Yamaha.
Yeah, he points out.
He's got to ride Supercross, so he's another guy that's going to fall, you know.
I think it's kind of, I just think, like, maybe I'll not be liked for it, but I think it's kind of just the way it is. We're at this point, like, when you have...
As long as we like you, dude. There's two of us that like you, so right, don't worry about what everybody else likes you.
They can't come closer than 2 meters anyway, dude, so don't worry.
Well, the World Championship, I've kind of, you know, I go there now and I watch the MX1 and you've got, like, Prado, you've got Geyser, you've got... Sewer, you've got all them guys in the middle. It's a real proper race of like 15 really quick guys. You know, you've got your Erlins and your guys who a little bit, you know, they've got some extra speed in the tank. But you see all them guys now and you think maybe some of them guys, if the age 23 rule wasn't there, they wouldn't be in MX1.
You reckon Prado wouldn't be there at all, or?
Oh no, he wanted to go up. He's already early. He's done his 2 world championships. Like, I'm going. You know, but I think there's a certain few guys who might have stayed down because they could generally they could win the world championship MX2.
Yeah.
So they've been forced to go up. They're lucky enough got a ride, got a deal, you know, and so I see the other side of it where it is pushing the guys out forward and making room for the younger guys to come in, you know, and this is going to be a big mess this year if the racing doesn't get done properly in the world championship. You know, you got I think Ben Watson's out of class this year.
Yeah. If you're turn 23 this year or turn 24,
well, you think about this as well. Since they made it, like, I'm not for the 23 rule, but think about since they made the 23 rule, pretty much since they started that, I think that Europe is kind of like, you know, like they've been winning the nation since they've done that, because you've got such a strong MX1 class and the level has got so high because you've got 15.
Yeah.
You know, like if you go to a British Championship race and you watch those guys that are winning the British, like, it's impressive, man.
Yeah.
Like Tommy and all those guys, Tommy, Sean, Bobrashev, you know, those guys, when you watch
Don't forget him.
yeah, those guys are quick, you know. And then they go to the World Championships and, you know, they're between, what, 6 and 12, 13?
Yeah.
You know, so there's, mate, and like, honestly, like, you're watching the British and you think you couldn't possibly go quick, you know. So I think having so many good riders, because of the age has pushed them, there's so many good riders in that class, that the whole level has gone up like maybe 10%. From what it was 4 or 5 years ago, because there's so many good riders in that class, and I think that's what's made the level in Europe climb a little bit higher than what it was.
I think, in theory, it makes sense, and you can see their thinking behind it, especially in Europe, I think. But
I mean, it's hated. Like, a lot of people, kind of, when it first were like going crazy about the rule.
Especially,
like,
do you remember when they put the 23 rule for EMX 250 as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
That went crazy, didn't it? People absolutely hated it. But
it's only for the kids to come through.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if say you go to, say, an EMX 250 race, and you go there and you go, right, this is the young kids, like the 125 classes. You get there, and I think the first couple of years it was done, there was quite a few guys between 25 and 30 in that class. Then you've got a kid at the age of, say, 19, who physically isn't as strong as the guy at 30. You know what I mean? Like, and the guy at 30 is winning, but the kid's got good speed, but not quite the strength of the older guy. And you kind of think, you know, there's got to be a rule where the young guys are getting up through. And in the MX2 class, you got, you know, Prado's come through. You know, you got.
But then let me stop. What happens to that 30-year-old dude then that was doing the European? Where does he go race?
That's where it's getting harsh.
Like, he's not going to go race GPs.
Where does he go? And
a guy that's running top 5 in the European Championship at 30 years old, he's probably going to make a wage out of that.
Yeah.
They get that rule on, he's going to finish 22nd, 23rd in the MX1 class. He won't get a sponsor to pay for that. So it's kind of like, unless they go race a 2-stroke, like, that's pretty much the only place that they can really
that
go.
goes back to what you said about Martin, though. It's like, he's got to do what he's got to do to get paid.
Else. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing else.
I think I agree there with you, Nev. But the bit I kind of I'm kind of seeing the sense in it a little bit is if that's where they're at, then that's how it's going to be. They've got to go find their own.
That is how it is.
Their own kind of. It's really cruel. Like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Or the World Championship, like they put the two-stroke class in. Like, sometimes I think there've been rounds where there's been 15 guys there, potentially loads of people to go in. But the other thing, what you're missing here, I'm not giving you a hard time here, but that guy in the EMX class, they really get nothing for doing that either.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah.
So even if they're up the front winning, I think there's a shot of good money at the end of it. But still, it's mainly the team. It's what the team. It's what the team wants, and the money comes from the teams pretty much, not what they get. And even if you go MX1 or MX2, it's more the team than actually what you're going for. Really.
Thing, yeah.
So it's kind of getting harsh all over really with it. To be
quite
honest.
Scary actually when you put it into perspective.
It's
what
true.
People are racing for.
Do you know what I mean?
Right, let's put a pin in that then. I just want to quickly, before we move on, talk about the EMX, or not the EMX, the World Junior Championship being completely cancelled this year. Like we're saying there about aging out, that happens a lot. I know a few kids that were going to race in the EMX 85, or I keep calling it EMX, the World 85 Championship this year, and it's their last shot to become a world champion on 85, which is completely cancelled. They're not going to run it.
Is that a one-off race?
It's a one-off race. It was going to be held in Greece, and let me just check what
I did it
MXGP
last year with Joel. Like, it was good.
It's a good event. They did it in
kind of like a
Italy.
mini destination, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me have a look.
I think a lot of kids from South Africa also go to that race.
Yeah.
It's a big event. Kids from Australia. They did it in Australia 2 years ago.
That's the
Italy
thing
last year.
Sheridan used to come over for.
Yeah, it's the thing like when you see. I think
Tomax
Max was world champion.
Yeah, that thing.
Stephen Clark won it 1 year.
Yeah, I know.
Ken Roxon has won it, I think. But it's like it's the biggest event in youth motocross. All the Americans come and do it.
Yeah, Joel was 5th there last year.
Eddie J. Wade won the 85s a few years ago.
Yep.
And they said the MXGP press release said they can't reschedule it because it's a summer. They do it in the summer, and they don't want to schedule it during school time.
Yeah.
Which, in sensible, makes sense. But it just seems a shame for those kids that have worked for a year or two on 85, and then the shot's just gone.
I think it goes all the way through the scale, like how this coronavirus has affected everyone. It's kind of.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, a lot of people have put a lot into the season, whether it's for the 85 World Championship or the World Championship or you're a club racer, Everyone's put their time in and then all of a sudden it's all stopped, like a lot of people are going to miss the boat, people that the last year in the class, they got
Ben Watson, that's what I was getting to,
exactly.
He's out this year.
Like a lot of people, hopefully, going away from the Junior World Championship, hopefully those guys in the World Championship will get a chance to prove themselves or get deals for next year But yeah, going back to that, man, a lot of money's been spent.
A lot.
Yeah.
Do you think that, because it's extreme circumstances, do you think that they should have, say you age out of the 85, I think at 14 you can't race it at 15, but if next year they just push that back?
No, you shouldn't be racing 85 at 16.
No, but at 15.
I don't think that they should do that.
It's just the circumstances. You know what I mean? It's like, I saw someone the other day, they said, if say the World Championship was like 8 rounds, just say 8 rounds, they come back to, I'm going to do 8 rounds, done 2 already, so 10 rounds. You kind of look at it and go, well, if it's 10 rounds, it's the year we had coronavirus.
Yeah, it's unfair for that World Champion to have an asterisk next to them. Because it was the same for everyone, they still won it.
It was what they raced. It was, that's what you're racing for. These are the races you've got to do it, and everyone's the same. It is what it is.
But the Junior World Championship, just one thing is like, how many of them kids go to school full time that go to that Junior World Championships? I'm not being funny, but I'm sure if they wanted a weekend off to do that, it's no problem. A couple of days off of school, I'm sure. Because I think in the UK, when Gareth Hockey was doing the Judd, I think we had a letter to give to the school, like if my son needed an afternoon off or a Friday off to travel to the venue, you've got a good excuse. So that World Championship, pretty poor excuse that is to say because of the school holidays, because I think
most schools would be, if you went to your head teacher and said, look, I could become a world champion, most schools would be absolutely pumped to have a world champion there.
I kind of think like with this whole coronavirus thing, I think when everything starts up again, if there's a series that wants to race, they probably will race. And there's going to be a series that if they don't want to race, they're going to find an excuse, because there's millions of excuses with this coronavirus that you can use. People that want to race will probably race, and people that don't want to race are going to say, right, these are the reasons we're not racing. I think as soon as one person does it, I think a lot of people will follow through, but it's whether the organisers want the stress of getting everything organised, getting all the safety precautions put in, and I think it's up to the people that are running it, if they want to take the chance and go ahead and do it, or if they're happy to just write it off and start again next season. I think that's pretty much how it's going to be when everything starts up again.
Yeah. All right, let's put a pin in that there. That was Petrol Headlines. If you like that, if you want to know more, send us some questions. I'll try and answer them at the end of the show, and we'll go a bit more in depth if you want us to. The next segment that we're going to throw it to now is Moto Fights. So let's go into it, shall we? Right, so we're back. Moto Fights is our debate segment. If you watched our podcast last year, The Plug, we did the same sort of format where we pick a subject and then each of us would pick our rider or track or bike, and then we argue about it. Now we're going to retread our footsteps here. Last year we did a debate about who was or is or has been the greatest motocross rider of all time. And last year we all picked the same rider, we all came in with Ricky Carmichael because that's the obvious choice. So I've put some rules in this time. We have to pick a rider from our era. So I pick a rider from the 2000s, Nev's going to pick a rider from the 90s, and Neil's going to pick a rider from the 1950s.
Not that I was born then.
1980s Neil's going to go for. So we all pick a rider from our era and we argue why we think that rider is the best rider or the greatest rider of that time, and then why they're better or why we think they're better than everyone else's. So, who wants to go first? Nev, you go first. Who is your rider? Who's your pick for the greatest rider of all time from the 90s?
So, I'm going from the 90s, so I'm going to have to say McGrath from the 90s, just because, pretty much anyone in the 90s wanted to be like McGrath. He was so cool, he had such a cool aura.
Did you have frosted tips?
Yeah,
you did.
That's why I've got no hair now.
Yeah.
Peroxided so many times. But McGrath...
And flashing lights.
Yeah. I had the fin with the flash. Yeah, just McGrath was so cool. The way he rode a bike, like his personality was really cool. He's one of the first guys to really come across as like a cool personality, and the way he rode a bike, he could come through. And even like he was obviously a Supercross specialist, but then he won a couple of outdoor championships as well. When he came to the nations, he could win that.
Nations, yeah.
He won all 3 races, I think, in Spain.
Don't ask me the
step
year,
down.
but
Yeah,
big step
I
down.
know
I think
he's
he
won
won
the
both
nations.
races that day.
I think he only won.
Lamson not win one.
He won the 125 class.
But then he won an outright in 125.
He might have been second. I'm sure McGrath won both. I think so. He won both.
He was definitely top 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, and man, just and that sort of time is when all the movies like the Terra Firma started coming out, the Krusty started coming out.
The Krusty.
Kind of like McGrath was a man that he was the first kind of like mainstream.
He was the first motocross rock star, really, wasn't he?
And you had like a good vibe and stuff, and it's quite funny, like when Ricky started being in, like you take it personally, everyone loved McGrath so much. All right. So I'm gonna go McGrath.
Neil, who's your pick?
I've been watching loads of 80s videos, lots of videos. Back in the 80s, obviously, was Dave Thorpe. I thought he was world champion. He was the king, really. But one guy popped up, and I keep watching the video, and I've done Farley Castle quite a few times, so's Neville. Anyone seen a YZ 490 air-cooled bike?
Never heard of one.
I've rode one. It's like...
Is that the bike that Ben LeMay raced that one year?
It could be. It's air-cooled, but it's like turning the Titanic. Didn't turn. It was awful, and I love the bike.
Sounds like a jet ski.
Yes. And I was watching Hawkstone Park, and there was like Malherbe, I think Thorpe won both races. I think 84, something like that. 84, 85 won both races. Joe Bay was there on the Quacker. And Hakan Karkus was there on this bike, and he was pushing on pretty much every race. He'd be up there or he'd be pushing, and I thought, fair play, he's got to have a bit of notice for that, because I think if you put a 4-piece Honda or Malherbe's Honda there and you put his bike there, for sure they ain't making the results like he was making on that Yamaha.
Yeah.
For sure. So
was he a Finnish rider?
Swedish. But he was strong.
Big guy, for the kids watching, Swedish rider, 2-time world champion?
2-time, 250, 584, I think, 84, no, or 83, and then 82, 250.
And he was one of the only riders to upset HRC's like perfect decade.
Pretty much. And I'm sure if you put Dave will hate me for saying this, if you put him on that Yamaha, Dave would be like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
And I think when Carlquist finally got to his era where he'd had enough of the bike, Yamaha got rid of him, and they had Wim Wond and Kurt Lundqvist on they made a YZM, which was which was the bike to go against the HRC bike, which was water cooled. If you look, it's one of the nicest bikes you'll see, and it's still, if you took it to the pits now, it wouldn't look out of place. And so to me, Akin Carlquist was a bit of a legend back in them days, really. Strong, Swedish, an animal.
So, I'm my rider from the 2000s. I'm not going to pick the easy option. I'm not going to go Ricky Carmichael. We'll exclude him. He's on a different plane of existence. He's literally, I've been looking at stats this week, and his stats are insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So, I'm not going to include Ricky Carmichael because that's cheating. My pick for the greatest rider from the 2000s, it might be a bit controversial because he didn't do that much racing, but I think Travis Pastrana did the most for dirt bike sports, particularly when I was growing up. The attention that he brought to it, the kind of the mainstream attention, the mainstream effect that he had being on MTV, doing all the stuff that he done, rally racing and X Games. Like most of my friends don't know a thing about dirt bikes, don't know anything about motocross. They won't know who Jeremy McGrath is. They certainly won't know who Hagen Carlquist is. But a lot of them know exactly who Travis Pastrana is. And I think that I'm going to use that as my argument as why he's been the best rider of my generation, just because he's brought more eyes to our sport.
I think Travis was awesome, like the way he's another like different kind of guy. You know, I think people draw towards people that are out of the ordinary. You know. Like that first year when he was racing on Cardiff for that outdoor championship, like it was his first year on 125s on a Suzuki 125, and he took it to him at the end of the, like I think he won it in the last motor, Steel City, didn't he?
Yeah.
And just everything he did was so cool. It's just a shame that, you know, a kid with so much potential had so many injuries and never, when he got to the main class, you know, like he had a few heat race wins and he had a couple of years there when he was with Carmichael and then.
But he could beat Carmichael as well.
Yeah, on
like
his day,
quite easily.
Sure,
they had a few run-ins, didn't they, when I was both on Suzuki? Like few heat race run-ins and.
Yeah, Carmichael's on Honda.
Was he on Honda? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
people hated Carmichael when he was.
I did an interview with Travis once, and I was playing a word association game, I think, and I said Ricky Carmichael, and he went on about it, and he basically said that he was a dick when they was both on Factory Suzuki. They're cool now, he said. They're cool now, and he understands why. But when he was on Factory Suzuki with RC, Ricky would let him go training on the practice track at the same time.
Right.
And he was just a bit
I think it's
ridiculous.
hard to get on with your teammates sometimes.
Especially when you've got one who can probably just come out of the van with an injury and smoke him for a couple of laps and think, hold on a second, I've been push-ups, I've been on it this week, and this kid's just come out of nowhere and blitz me for two. Which, I'm right, he could do that. Pastrana.
Pastrana was special at that. You know, like I think kind of like when he started getting injured, it did like halt his riding a bit. You know, like if you watch Pastrana on 125 before he done his knees and shoulders and everything, and then you watch him when he got onto the 250, the way he corners, like he always started on the 250, he always corners, and you see he's always got his leg up really high so he doesn't dab and having knee injuries myself, I know exactly why he's doing that. You know, when you catch your knee or your toe, the pain is insane, but you can literally, it looks like when he's riding, he's literally trying to stop himself from dragging his foot. When he was on the 125, you know, he was just wide open, you know, like he's riding a bike pure. And
when he was on that 125, you can kind of compare it a little bit to how James Stewart was. Like he was just hanging off that bike and riding it to like within an inch of his life all the time.
Destinations.
St.
John Angeli.
With Grant Langston,
and he won that day, I think.
Jumped down that hill, past him and stuff. Yeah, he was. So you know, he obviously had the desire to win as well. You know, because he raced hard. It's just a shame it just ended.
Did his hand come off the bars when he landed there? Did he land heavy and
did he jump over Tortelli's head or?
No, Grant Langston. In the qualifying race was Grant Langston, jumped down the hill past Grant.
But I'm sure his hand come off and he still went by him by the corner back on and still made it.
And the stuff he used to do, like when he used to ride with like cast on his hands and he rode broken bones, and a little bit like Yusi. Like Yusi did land and got so injured and rode with so many injuries, he could almost tell you what you can and can't ride with.
What
Literally,
tablets? What tablets?
like literally, he could tell you like, okay, you've broken that, right, you're going to be out for this long, or if you do this, you can still race. Travis was the same, you know, then he'd know straight away he'd broken something.
I seen a quote from Travis that I properly rate. I'm paraphrasing that. He said that why he hates it if you see your favourite rider kind of lay up on the last lap and not go for the win because second's good enough.
Yeah.
When you're a little kid and you've gone to your first Supercross race to see Travis Pastrana ride and he lays up on the first lap, that's lame.
Exactly.
So he was like, I'm going to give it everything I've got every single time on the bike.
Tomac must have watched that, didn't he?
Tomac definitely watched that. And I just think that's sick. I rate that so much. Like,
that's his lifestyle. That's the way he is, though. You know, like obviously Suzuki obviously told him not to do all that freestyle stuff, and he went and did it. You know, like you can see it. I think you know Travis is he's just one of the boys that's extremely talented.
Do you boys know what moment like he finished? Like his dad went. That's it, done.
When he ended over that fence.
He was hauling. His dad left and said, whatever you do not let him jump, because he was going on this jump. And then his dad went to, I think, back to the house river. There was like a big kind of road with a jump of a road, and he went over the bars.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And his dad said that was the end. That was his knee done. Never.
Fence,
He was like young then, like 14, 15 when he did that, right?
No. That's when he went to 252 stroke.
Oh no, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
And it was
he was
free riding.
He was wearing like a jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. A funny story about him, in 1994, he came to South Africa to do, like, they brought out about 6 or 7 Americans to come and do, like, an international series race. And my dad worked at Suzuki South Africa as a parts manager. So I was sponsored by Suzuki, and I got a brand new bike as my race bike, and he actually used the race bike. And he's racing with Grant, and him and Grant went hard at it, dude. I think Grant, but again, racing with the cast on his hand, a broken hand. And racing with the cast on his hand, and even watching him there, like the jumps he was jumping. South Africa's got like a lot of big jumps, especially at this track where it was. Some of the 125s weren't even jumping them, and he was just insane. And through the whoops, they probably got about 30 whoops in the line at this track, like big whoops, you know, like the old style whoops where you can either triple or double, you know. And he was just like off the back of the bike through him, you know. But it's quite funny, like him and Grant from that day, even, you know, we would have been 12, 13 then. From that day, that rivalry started, and when Grant came back from the World Championship, and him and Travis went together. Travis was the American champion, and Grant was the European champion. And then, you know, what is that, like 10 years later? It's funny how like racing is like a big circle, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's try and decide then. Well, we'll have the people watching at home. You comment below who you reckon, Pastrana, McGrath, or Karlqvist. Who do you think's the greatest out of those 3 riders? Now, I think McGrath and Pastrana are quite similar in the fact that they pushed the sport to a bigger audience than ever before.
Yeah.
McGrath did that in the 90s. Pastrana did that with the freestyle and the X Games and stuff.
But if you go in race wins, dude, McGrath's still the all-time 72.
But also, I've got to say, Karlqvist, he couldn't do
double backflips.
Yeah, 'cause he did a. That was a 490 Yam he did a backflip on.
The YZ 490?
He did a backflip, didn't he, on Brock Glover's bike?
Oh, yeah.
The other week, Pastrana. He crashed and then he got it round.
So we're going to give it to Pastrana then, the win?
There's no...
But what's the question? Is it the fastest or...
It's your interpretation of who's the greatest, why they're the greatest.
Well, the greatest is...
It's
on wins or...
On wins? No, but who do you think... For you, is the best rider. So
what are those 3 dudes?
Out of those 3 dudes, yeah. Who do you think had the biggest impact on the sport? Let's do it like that. Let's make it the other side of that.
McGrath. For sure, he fetched Supercross to like the level Pastrana started at. You know what I mean? Like at that level.
If you look at Supercross racing pre-McGrath, it's a different sport, isn't it?
It's still cool, man.
It's cool.
I've been watching a lot of it.
They're just going up, aren't they? They just go up and down.
Everyone gets these perceptions on these old bikes. You know, I ride an old bike myself, so I can comment on it. Like, they get this perception that the bike's 25 years old, it shouldn't be doing all this jumps and stuff. Go look at Supercrosses from 20 years ago.
Gnarly.
Mate, it was. And the jumps are like, it was almost like you look at it and you think it looks wrong.
Yeah, because they just literally go up and then
everything, and like, you know, there's people not jumping jumps, and obviously the whoops and stuff have changed, but everything's so steep. Like you watch John Michelle Bell and those guys, like Bradshaw racing, Stanton racing, Kudrowski, LaRocco, like.
Yeah. Jeff Emig was good as well. Him and McGrath had
Yeah.
some proper serious racing back in them days.
Yeah, definitely. And you just think, you know, people get it because they say, the bike's old, but those guys are doing
Yeah,
some
they
good
were, yeah.
stuff. Even if you go back to the 80s even, you know,
Yeah.
like, dudes,
I think it was more brute strength back in them days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But until
The way they rode.
McGrath kind of brung like the dance to Supercross, didn't he? He kind of
yeah,
turned it into the beautiful
rhythm of-
sport.
yeah,
He
yeah.
brought the rhythm into the rhythm lane, didn't he? Basically,
he changed, you know, and then Stewart obviously brought it another level. McGrath was like, you know, brought it to a level, and then
he brought it to a level that
and
the
then,
next guys could.
James. And I don't know, do you think it's changed since James? Do you think
Did you
has there been anyone since then?
Did you see the interview with his dad?
Yeah.
Did you see what his
Yeah.
dad said about James and Malcolm?
Yeah.
No, I
About
didn't see that.
he said that James was not. He didn't say nowhere near. He was not as gifted as what Malcolm was. What he basically so he's not as gifted as Malcolm. He said when James had to ride the bike, like if he started tomorrow, he has to really work at the bike to go around the track to make it happen.
Yeah.
He said Malcolm, I think he was on that when he broke his femur. The first day he was back on the bike, he was like as if he'd never been off it. So he said that Malcolm has more
Natural talent.
natural talent than what James ever had. That's basically what he said.
Which is, you kind of think that no one's ever had more talent on the bike
No.
than James Stewart, don't you?
He said he just had to work at it.
Yeah,
he
It was
said
unbelievable, man.
he made it
Like,
happen.
I think it's, you know, like you'll know the same, when the more hours you put on the bike, the more you feel one with it, you know.
Yeah.
Like when you got a track like that in the back garden, and you know, obviously like
Big time.
that thing he said when he went to the end of the garden in 5th gear and hit those whoops in 5th gear.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is what brings you to that another level,
Yeah.
you know, like thinking of that first, and then, you know, having the confidence in yourself to try that sort of stuff, and then you do it, and the confidence you get from doing that,
Builds and builds.
it's just like a snowball effect, you know. And I think Stuart's one thing he did, you know, like no one can ever take that away from that guy. Like, he's second on the all-time list,
All time,
isn't he?
50
Yeah.
wins in Supercross, yeah.
And then Carmichael, and then Reed.
And then, Villapoto. And on the weekend, Tomac just Ty Dungy.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting, you're about RC. What's interesting is, and I think Stuart's very similar. Their career is very, like Carmichael's career is very short.
10
So if
years.
and if you look at it, you go like, he was there for ages. If you look at his racing, it was short. It's his percentage of winning.
Yeah, no.
That's what I was on
He
about.
won like
His
90%
stats.
of it.
Another level.
It's Carmichael never lost an outdoor championship. He won
Watching
every
the
single outdoor championship he ever did, and he didn't miss one until 2007 when he.
Was half a
Part-time.
year. Yeah,
But that
part-time.
isn't- how
Supercross
crazy
on
is
the
that?
weekend, like going away a little bit, watching the Supercross on the weekend reminded me of those days when it was Carmichael, Stewart and Reed, and those were the only 3 guys. Sometimes they'd lap up to like 6, 7. The Supercross with those 3 guys this weekend was the first time in probably about 10 years you've actually seen 3 guys separate themselves from quality riders like that, like how those 3 guys used to, you know, like James, Ricky and Chad.
I don't think they were far off lapping Anderson either.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Man, it's
it's
impressive.
pretty
man.
special how they did that, really.
I don't know if you'll see another race like that.
No.
Because it was muddy, but it wasn't ridiculously muddy, wasn't it?
It wasn't
was,
like
it wasn't
Daytona
like a
2008,
full-on
was
muddy,
it?
no.
It wasn't. It was sticky.
yeah.
But-
the cream rises on conditions like that, I think, when it's hard, you know, like when you're not comfortable, like no one is going to be comfortable around that track,
No. And maybe just them two were in the race, they were pushing each other. It's a bit like cycling. You know, if you've got someone in front of you, you're going to keep going. So I think them two were just pushing and keeping the speed the same, where maybe Anderson got to third and was like, I ain't going to catch him.
No.
I want to just bring this home.
Yeah.
That type of thing, really.
Yeah. All right, let's leave that there. Then.
So
we're going
who
to
are we going with?
McGrath.
McGrath.
Yeah,
McGrath,
you've
gotta
convinced
be,
us.
yeah.
It's McGrath.
Good confidence, eh?
Yeah.
Let's get a job in
So
contest.
it's up to the comments now. If they say McGrath as well, we'll tie a bow on it, and you can take that trophy home.
I'll say, Dan, you want to go? You've been advised against that, haven't you?
I've been advised against that one for sure.
The sponsor said no. He's not.
Yeah.
Do not let Nev ride that bike.
He said to me last week, he was like, "Right, if I win, you can ride more. I can ride your 125. If you win, you can ride my 500." I'm thinking, that's lose for me.
A 500 nice bike. Nice bike.
I rode it in Spain. I did not want to do it again.
Oh, you need a bit of loam with the 500, a bit of
It was
sand track.
loamy.
We had loan
Was
that
it?
day.
It was
We had loan
very
that
lonely,
day.
but not the bike for me, Neil. Right, so segment number 3 then. Let's jump into it. This is Trophy Talk. Right, so we're back. Trophy Talk. This is one of my favourite segments here on the show. This is where one of our guests, this time we have Neil, they bring in a trophy that's got a particularly good story or good memory to them. They bring it on the show, a bit of a show and tell. They tell us all about it. We ask the questions that we all want to know. So, Neil, what do you have for us today?
Okay,
Fancy.
team event 2019.
Which camera's yours? Show it to this one.
There we go.
Team event 2019.
Yep.
What's this, an ACU team event? MCF?
I think it's club championship. So it was like YSMA Midlands, Coventry Club, MC, which is Irish, I think.
So it's like
Cotswold.
all the clubs come together for one race.
So it's a big event.
Yeah,
big
it's like
event.
the mini designations, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
So me and Neville got signed up. And my
So
little-
this is an extra special one because it's a joint trophy.
yeah,
you was both on the same team?
It's a team event.
I actually put
Yes.
some sweat into earning that.
Were
as
you
well.
on the same team?
Yeah, same team. But why it's important to me is my little one rode the auto class. So for the team winning, we all had the team shirts, which he still wears now. If we go riding, he still puts the shirt on, the Cullum team shirt. So basically, it was good for just had him on the podium. You know what I mean? Like for me, that's kind of a highlight for me. And my wife to be there, and you know, it was just special. So to me, that means a lot. Even though, yeah, like you know, I've been lucky enough to win some other things in my career, but this one
you
means
never
a
had
lot.
chat then.
But
No.
no, and him to be there, he loved the weekend, even though the mechanic let him down with his bike, which was me, obviously. So, yeah, it was just a great
It
weekend.
was a
And-
ruffler, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was like that deep in mud. It
Well,
was
Milton.
savage, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got into ride strife. Like, I don't think Cullum were even invited for this year because they were saying there was pros in our group and stuff.
Yeah,
Neville
we
rides.
took some
Neville
heat
rides
from
are
it.
fun. I rode Farley before that, I think. Do you know what I mean? So it was quite a good event. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed it, and there was obviously Irish were there. They were partying a lot. A lot of partying, and it got rained off the second day, and it was the only day where it was so muddy. Like I haven't rode mud for years, and the ruts were massive, and the track was it was pretty
It
bad.
actually
wasn't
got
it?
good at the last motor. Was
It
quite
wa- I
sick.
loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like I loved it, and even though I've not ridden them conditions, I loved it. I loved the racing. I rode the Joel's 150.
I was going to say what bike you ride. You didn't ride a Suzuki then?
I was going to ride my Suzuki, but she was playing up before I put in the van, and I thought, God, I'll take Joel's bike, which he won the championship on. And I hadn't rode it before, and to be honest, I was actually gobsmacked. Like,
Was that
you rode
150
pretty good. I
or
thought
the
you
one-
rode pretty
from
good.
150? Yeah, 150. From practice, I was like, I was gobsmacked how good it was, from suspension to engine.
So you
I
was,
was-
you were shocked about how good of a bike you built?
I
for
was
John?
shocked. I was shocked, and to be honest, the bike was pretty much standard. They're that good out the crate. So I went home from that day thinking, God, I could actually buy a 150. I enjoyed it that much, and I was actually a little bit worried Friday night because I'd never ridden it before. I'd ridden it up and down the test track or took it to technical, but actually, as a bike to take out the crate, I was gobsmacked. Do you know what I mean? Like very, very good. So that means
That means a lot to
that
you.
event means a lot to me. Really, my little one was there on the up on the trophies, spraying the champagne. So it was a good weekend, and just shame on a Sunday you needed a jet ski.
Yeah,
It was that
wasn't
bad.
gonna happen.
At Milton Park,
Yeah,
which is a hard pack track, so
yeah, but it was like you imagine.
Then just got away
yeah.
the first day, and then
and it tipped it down.
It actually got good by the end of the first day,
Yeah.
and then
You
we were in the
blew
beer
up.
tent, weren't we?
Did you
Oh,
blow up?
blew
Yeah, in the
up
last race.
night.
Yeah.
On my factory, what did it call? My factory
252
rider. I'm a
stroke,
professional rider. And I had a 20-year-old CR250 there.
What were you
That's
on? The Honda?
Yeah, it was good racing though. I was on the old, and
Yeah.
I don't know, the power valve wasn't really open in that park or something, but we had some good races. There was 3 guys. There's about 3 good, like 3.
Yeah, there was the guy, I think, on a 450. I always look at it, if you're on a 450 and you're racing against someone on a 2-stroke, to me, if you ride a 450 or a 2-stroke, there's the guy on the 2-stroke has got to ride the proper pants off the
Yeah.
bike. And you're, what was it, 03?
Yeah, I was 3, but there was something, it wasn't going good. That
But
day.
it was a
But it was
mental
good,
race, really.
You know what? Like one thing I'll take away from the weekend, and I'm going to put it out there, is like we provided some really good racing for people to watch that weekend. Like there was 3 of us, at least 3 riders.
Yeah.
On a gnarly track, and we raced to the finish. It was good racing, you know, like people got into it, like literally like bar banging racing through all these ruts and stuff. We did that for 2 motors, then my bike blew up in the last motor, right? And then it's meant to be like a fun thing, this whole, you know, like
Team.
schoolboy racing is fun, you know, that's, people are spending money, go there, enjoy yourself, let your kids do the best they can, have a good time with your mates, have a couple of drinks. draw a line at it, go home, go to work, and look forward to the next weekend. That's what I think it should be. And then, man, it starts like, you know, the politics of it start, and you think, man, it's just like fun racing, you know, like, I was a professional rider on a factory bike. I was on a 2003 CR250, you know, 37 years old, just racing for fun, man. Like, literally, the only reason I did it was because it's 2 miles from my house, and I knew Neil was riding, and
I've been training for weeks for that hour.
And then the stress after, I just think, you know, like, motocross is a fun thing. Enjoy yourselves, put good vibes out, you know, let people be, and just enjoy what you're doing, you know.
You said it's like a mini Motocross of Nations. It's not the actual Motocross of Nations.
No, you know, like, and I'll never do it again. I'll never ever do that race again, no matter how old I am. Like, just because of not the stress I went through, because I don't really, you know, like, people think it's their deal, but I just thought of it, and it reminded me growing up racing as a kid and the politics that was involved in that. You know, I just think, no, I'm not, like, I won't do it again now. Like, so I think my bottom line is enjoy yourself, and, you know, don't get involved in all the, you know, everyone's there to race. It'll be a different story if Tommy Stills showed up on the bike, he won the championship one, you know, then say something.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, yeah, enjoy yourself with your racing, you know, there's good times to be had, have good times, don't worry about your
Sounds like
Facebook.
Neil had a good time with his champagne and his trophy there.
No, but Neville's got a point, like, because, you know, I don't follow too much, but one person came up to me and said, oh, you should be running for our club. Why are you running for us? Why are you running for them? I thought, I was never asked. That's why I'm not, that's on your club. And they asked my son as well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
They were like, well, you could have rode first. I was like, I was never asked.
And I actually did get asked. I actually did get asked. The people that caused the trouble afterwards asked me before. And the other sides to ask these other people, and then they were the ones saying that I shouldn't be riding. And they'd already asked me to do it for them. So then I thought, right, that's cool, that's done, that's never happening again.
Well, they shouted at me. They shouted at me. Why are you running first?
They shouted
And
at you.
I was never asked.
You know what? When Neil broke out this trophy, I saw it said 2019 team event. I never thought it'd be so controversial.
No,
I didn't think it'd be such a controversial
And
topic.
it was a fantastic weekend. We were having beers.
We were drinking on the
Do you know what I
Saturday
mean? And then I heard the club's even banned from going next year. I was like, really? Do you know what I mean? Like,
you know, that's where,
That's
like,
funny.
you know, you just got to get back to why you're actually there and why you're riding motorbikes, I think.
yeah, the beer was good.
Yeah, it was all, I had a cool time. Like, that beer stem,
Lily's
six of them, and I was sucking over all over the moon. I was actually hoping the race was going to be cancelled the next day. Because I was riding your bike the next day, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were. Yeah, we're going to share it.
Like,
I didn't tell
man.
Joel that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's draw the line there for Trophy Talk this week. Like I said, I didn't think it was going to be so controversial a topic, talking about Neil's team event win. But anyway, that's Trophy Talk.
We took the trophy home. So
Took the W, and that's all that counts. So that's it for Trophy Talk. We're going to go to our last segment of the show, one I've been working on. Let's go for it, shall we? We are on the hunt for the world's biggest dirt brain. In our quest to find the most knowledgeable dirt bike geek in all the land, we'll be pitting two rivals head to head in a 3-round contest of Moto Trivia. The rider with the most points at the checkered flag will live on in eternal glory, knowing that, for today at least, they are the biggest dirt brain in the room. Get ready for the gate drop. This is Dirt Brains. And we're back. So, I've been working hard on this one. I think it's going to be the coolest segment that we ever do on HANGTIME. It's called Dirt Brains. Now, Dirt Brains is our quiz show. I've tried to explain to the boys here this afternoon, but they've been distracted on Instagram and talking about God knows what. So I'll try to explain to us. So hopefully this
I think we should do a
smoothly.
show on what you're talking about.
No, I don't think we'd get very far with that one. So this is our quiz show. Hopefully it goes smoothly. Let me just talk you through the 3 different rounds. Round 1, I'm going to say the questions to both of the boys here. They've got whiteboards. They're prepared. Look, they're ready to go. I'll say the questions. We've got, I think, 7 categories. So pick a question, say it to the boys, they write down their answer, they've got 10-15 seconds to write down their answer, they show me. They get it right, 1 point. Round 2, we're going to pick a category out of there, 1 for each of the guys, it's worth 3 points. Now they can go to multiple choice, and it will go down to 1 point. And then the third and final round is the speed round. I've got 5 questions, first person to shout out their name gets the opportunity to answer the question. They get it right, 1 point. They get it wrong though, -1. So hopefully I can keep track of these scores here. And let's jump right into it.
You've got to
round
remember,
number 1.
Neil's been alive a lot longer than me, so he should have a lot
Don't
more.
worry, I don't know stuff that happened pre-1999.
You
So
should have a lot more
I just did my
knowledge than me.
CPC for my truck driving license. Trust me, dude.
Your brain's fried.
I was terrible.
right, so
So what are we doing? We're writing down answers now.
you write down the answers now. Let me just grab up the questions. So the first category we've got is under KTM and Husky. So this question is going to be related to a KTM or a Husqvarna.
Uh-oh.
Now bear with me a second.
You got to be careful
Okay.
here, mate.
I know.
Hey, the boss.
So
is
here we go
watching.
then. Ready? So write down your answers. Don't make sure Neil's not copying.
Right, do it like this.
Yeah. So New Zealander Shane King became KTM's first 500cc world champion. But what year did this Kiwi win the title?
Ah.
You got it, Nev?
Yeah.
What are you saying? Have you got your answer?
Yeah.
Right. Show me and then show the camera. Nev first. 1996. That's correct.
I thought it was 97.
No,
You sure?
Show us.
97.
97. So there we go.
Mate, you've lost your job at Husqvarna now.
I've got to check
I
that.
didn't even know that.
Ah, but what CC was he on?
500.
540.
It wasn't. Shane King.
Shane King.
380. Was it 380 two-stroke?
No, you're wrong.
Don't. The first question now.
It wasn't a 500.
Wikipedia said.
What's that?
No. Racer X said.
Yeah, they're wrong. It was
First 500cc world championship.
500 class, but he was on a 350.
380 KTM.
Yeah,
Two-stroke.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that,
like
he's
a
still
smaller
500cc world champion then in the
Yeah,
500
yeah,
class.
He just wrote
Oh, I
it.
get it. Yeah.
He's just
But
trying
I
to
said,
trick
what
me up.
CC was he on?
He's trying to get his...
He's trying to trick me up here.
96.
Jeez.
Right, so category number
Thanks,
2.
I want to thank Motovision for that. Thanks, Mark. Just because I've been watching your videos lately, that's why I knew that. He had an Arrow helmet on.
Yeah,
he
he
might have
did.
been in Wolfsport kit.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Right, I'm
Sorry,
going to give
dude.
you. I'm
Know
going to
this
give
stuff.
you a nasty question here. Category is Motocross of Nations.
Mm-hmm.
Germany were the surprise winners of the 2012 Motocross of Nations in the deep sands of Lommel. Ken Roxon and Max Nagel stood on the top step of the podium that day.
Oh, this one's
Who was the third member of the victorious German
That's
squad?
easy, dude.
Which track was that?
Lommel.
Yeah, I know that one.
Right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Marcus Schiffer. There we go.
Schiffer.
Yeah.
Point apiece then.
Still want to hit
I thought for sure you weren't going to get that one.
Do you like the way I'm ticking them myself just to make sure?
Just to
you're
make sure I'm
not
counted
ticking
up.
I was team manager that day, I remember quite well.
Dude,
I could not for the life of me remember.
I crashed in the first lap of practice and I didn't race the whole day, and it's the most disappointed I've ever been in my whole life with myself.
You dislocated your shoulder on that double jump.
No, I dislocated it before the last round of Cullum, and then I jumped that jump.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, but I remember.
Oh my
yeah,
god, dude! It was like I was vertical like that.
that
but
double coming this way.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It was after I crashed. That's why.
Was it?
Dude, my shoulder was like halfway out still.
final question on round number 1 is under the category of GPs. In 2003, Belgium dominated the GP scene. Riders from this country won all 3 world titles. That was the 650 class, MX1 class and MX2 class. Name those 3 riders. So MX1 world champion, MX2 world champion,
Oh, what year? 2003.
2003 and 650.
What year?
2003.
Oh, I got it. Sweet. 2000. Yeah.
2003. Wait there a second.
2003.
Have you finished?
I'm
I'll give you
sticking-
5
yeah,
more
I'm
seconds.
finished.
You need to get
Okay,
that. What's that
alright.
countdown thing called?
Hey.
Ding.
Countdown.
Was that the doubles in them days, 2003?
No.
I should know
Yeah,
this.
yeah, but Everton.
Right,
He
so
started halfway
he
through,
didn't,
he
he
would've
didn't know.
almost.
I'll tell you,
Mm.
it was not that. So Neil, you go first. Who you got?
Evert Smets,
Yep,
Ramon.
correct.
Yeah, snap.
Same.
Smits, Everton, Ramon.
There we go.
Because
So,
Everts made a big mistake there. If he'd done one more
He
round,
should
he'd
have
won
done
all
one more,
3.
yeah,
He'd
yeah.
won both, wouldn't he?
That was quite cool to watch him ride a 250F. I didn't think he'd be.
Because the
as good at
500 was at a different place that time, wasn't it?
No.
It wasn't at the same
No,
place.
because he
was
won
it?
all 3 in France, didn't he? Because he did all 3 classes in France at the last round.
Did he?
Yeah, he won all 3 of them.
I thought the 500s was a different venue to the to the
I
250s.
think by that time it had come.
Had it, which was Dormer back in them days. I think Dormer ran it.
Yeah, he won all
Yeah,
3,
yeah,
and that
they
last
did.
day at Ernie, didn't he?
Yeah, probably.
right, so that's it for round number 1. Bradshaw has a 3-2 lead
win.
over Prince. So round 2 is the category round. I would get you to pick out the trophy where the categories are, but COVID and all that, I'll pick for you. Who wants to go first?
Let Neil go.
Ladies first? Right,
He's way down. He needs to catch up.
Neil,
Which
I've
they
got
ladies
one
then?
here. Do you want me to use this one or do you want to go again?
Oh no, have it out, whatever it is.
Right. Your category, AMA Nationals.
Okay.
I'll ask you a question.
Yep.
And you can either answer it in one for 3 points, or if you're struggling, multiple choice, and you get 1 point. Bear in mind you are trailing Nev at the moment.
Can't believe I got Shane King. I raced him that year as
Yeah,
well.
I was going to say you were probably racing against as well.
I never saw him. Yeah, I never saw him.
Okay.
Robbie Herring would have seen him when he was riding.
Yeah, he would have.
in
Yeah.
a special frame.
Yeah.
There's some good riders in that. One guy that won the world championship from Sweden, I never even knew his name.
Marcus Hansen.
Yeah, he was on a Honda, wasn't he?
Won it 93
7.
or no 94.
Right, here we. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready now? This is a special one because you're here, Nev. Who was the first South African to win an AMA National Championship?
First South African.
First South African. Now, if you're struggling, you got multiple choice.
You got to know that.
Grant Langston.
Go, right?
No! What's he
Greg
done?
Albertine.
Greg Albertine.
What year was that?
That was before
Do I get
Greg
a point
Langston.
for that then,
I think
or
that
what?
was 97. I don't have it on my
Yeah,
screen
no,
there.
1999.
God, yeah.
99. I don't have it on my
99.
screen, but
Yeah.
dude, you've.
God.
I was trying
There
to
might be game over for old Princey there.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if there was, because he gets -1 for that now.
He won
No,
250
that's
championship,
round
didn't
3.
he?
It's -1.
He won 250 championship, didn't he?
Yeah.
Albertine
I'm
for
saying,
that
yeah,
in
because he
America.
won a world championship
Yeah.
a couple
3 times.
3 times, and then he went over and did
Yeah.
that.
I feel bad because I know Greg. I should have remembered him.
You're
straight
upsetting all
away.
the people today.
I was
though.
trying to think if there's someone before Greg.
I thought you said Supercross. You said Supercross.
I told
didn't
you, your category's right there, man.
I know.
Right, your turn.
Alright, go for it.
Your category is Supercross.
Go for it.
Bear with me while I just grab up the
How old are you
questions.
now?
How old?
Yeah.
37.
Yeah, you're doing good. You weren't even born then.
Right.
God, I thought I had that one as well.
Ready?
Mm.
In 1993, Jeremy McGrath became the first rookie ever to win the Premier Class Supercross Championship. Who was the only other rider to match this feat?
90. Sorry, say that again?
In 1993, Jeremy McGrath became the first rookie to
Yeah.
ever win the Premier Class Supercross Championship.
Yeah,
Who's the only other rider to match that feat?
Dungy.
3 points to
Mate.
Nev Bradshaw.
I should get a job.
You know, I wouldn't have
known.
known that one. Like, I would have went maybe James Stewart. But then I thought he crashed a lot.
Dungy was the
Yeah, it
first
was,
dude.
yeah,
Dungy.
on Suzuki.
Because
He was number 5 in a Suzuki.
what
Two-
happened that season? Reed and Stewart took each other out.
Was it 11?
He was quite
10.
11.
10 was it?
10.
10, yeah.
And
He was
then-
quite good though, to be fair. Like, even though
Yeah,
there's a
that
few
first
people
round at
injured.
Anaheim, him and Stewart went at it. That was his first ever race on a 450. I think Stewart won.
Yeah.
And then I think Stewart and Reed took each other out the next round,
Yeah.
or a couple of rounds later. And then both Reed and Stewart were out of the picture by the midway point, and it was Dungy Villapoto. And that's the year that Villapoto had his endo over the triple and
yeah,
broke
yeah.
his leg.
That's good, that is, Nev, to know that.
Yeah.
That would have been
Oh, dear.
quite a tricky one, that.
Right, so
Cleverer than I look, dude.
Very good. Very good.
he's because he watches motocross videos non-stop. Right, so third and
Used
final
to.
round is the speed round. This is your chance. If you're trailing, blitz the final lap here,
Dude,
and
this
you
is no
could
good
make
for
a
me.
final corner block pass on Nev to take the lead.
So the first person you have to say if you know it or what.
Yeah, so I'll say the question. I'll tell you the category. I'll say the question, and if you know the answer, shout your name. So Nev, Neil.
Alright, cool.
So
Once-
you're going to go like AMA Nationals, then you ask the question.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
any point in the question you think you know the answer, shout your name, and then that's your opportunity to answer. And if you don't answer it, or you get it wrong, it's -1 point.
Oh.
Okay, so let me just get the category up, which is category number 1 here is Honda.
Mm.
Okay. Before Tim Geiser, who was the last Honda mounted rider to win an MX1, MXGP, or 250, so basically the Premier Class World Championship. Before Tim Geiser, who was the last Honda rider to win an MXGP World Championship.
No,
I got it.
you go.
I'll give
you
that to
behind.
Neil.
I'm going to go with...
Come on.
5.
You can't think about it now once you
Bolle.
say.
Bingo!
I was going to say Bolle as
MP.
well.
I was struggling between Everton and Bolle, then I was like, oh.
It was Bolle in 2000, I think, and then Everton in 1999.
Yeah, Bolle.
Good
was
one.
the
I
last
didn't know that one. Okay.
That's a long time back, eh?
Oh, I got nervous then. It's like being a
So
party
it's
again.
6-3 by my count.
6-3.
6-3, yeah. That's that middle round deal. Screwed you.
Right,
Right, so next category is Motocross of Nations.
Uh-oh.
In what year did the Motocross Des Nations become the Motocross of Nations?
Nev.
5, 4, 3,
2009.
1. Oh, mate! 2004.
Was it really?
2004.
It
was the year-
I'm catching up, dude.
It was the same year it became MX1, MX2.
Lero.
I wouldn't have a clue at that, dude.
Yeah,
Like that.
So that's the year that
I still call it
Ustream
Des Nations.
bought Motocross, the Grand Prix from Dorna. I think.
Dormer.
Yeah, so
They sold it
Dave.
for a fortune and then bought it back for 0. I think.
clever business, isn't it?
Very good. Very smart.
Right. So the score is now 5-3.
Oh,
You're catching. I
it's
told you
getting
this last
closer,
lap
dude.
pass right beyond Neil.
Getting closer.
I wouldn't say that.
Category-
Last lap on Nev, no chance.
Category 3 is Nationals.
Oh.
Let me find.
I'm scared to answer wrong now.
Let me find a question.
Rather not answer.
Quick then, I was like, crack on.
Incredibly, Ricky Carmichael accomplished the impossible perfect season twice in his career. Can you name both of those years?
Yes, Neville. 2002 and 2005. 4. 5.
You said 5, mate. I'm
5.
sorry,
4.
that's wrong. 2004. I'm gonna have to.
And 2002.
2002, 2004.
No, mate.
So that.
Dude, I was thinking like 07, 08. I was thinking he retired.
So
then.
that's 4-3 here. It's getting close. It's getting
You
close.
just keep staying in there, dude.
And how many questions are left? 2.
Two questions left.
Jesus.
Question number 4 comes from the category of Supercross.
Oh, you'll be here.
Hang on a
I
second.
might not
Let me
answer
find a
this
good
one.
one.
Take it to the line, dude.
Let me find a good question here.
Did you make these questions up yourself or what?
Yeah?
Make the question
I've been-
from 70s
I've
to
been neglecting
75.
my missus for the last 3 nights. I'll be writing questions. So, ready?
Yeah.
Supercross. As of today, Pro Circuit Kawasaki have won 20 250 East Coast or West Coast Supercross Championships. Who was the last rider to claim Supercross Championship for Mitch Payton's legendary squad?
Neil, let me just have how long did you get?
5, 4, 3,
2,
2, 1.
Oh,
Go on, Neil, what you got?
Cincerello. No, he
No,
lost it, didn't he?
he screwed it, mate.
That's you done, my
But
man.
he's out of the game, but we'll just do it for the record sheet.
Who was it?
Justin Hill,
Justin Hill.
2016.
Is that the last time?
Biggest
last
last
time.
on that day.
And before that, because I forgot about Justin Hill,
Yeah.
before that, Brock Tickle.
I never even got
Wow.
Justin Hill. And you know what's
I
scary?
wouldn't have thought of Justin
I
Hill.
did think Brock Tickle, but I thought it was too long ago.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have thought of
Yeah,
Justin
they
Hill.
haven't done that great in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Right, so that's game over for you, I'm afraid, Neil.
Yeah, sorry.
But we'll
Let's
play
go to the last one.
We'll play
anyway.
it for the record sheet.
Just for shits and
It's a
giggles.
fun category.
I
Category,
jumped in there big time. What a cock
category
up.
number 5
I
is
think it's because I spent the pressure on for you to answer.
yeah, mind games, mate. The mind games. So category number 5 is freestyle. I don't know whether
you
you're a
definitely
freestyle
got
expert.
He definitely got this one.
Before you start Brian digging. No, I'm kidding.
Right, let's go for.
Clifford Edoptonte.
No, never heard of that guy.
I have the
He's
name
called
rings
the
a bell.
Flying Hawaiian.
The Flying Hawaiian. I
Yeah.
have heard of the Flying Hawaiian actually. Right, ready?
Yeah.
Last and final question of the first ever Dirt Brains. Who is credited as being the first person?
Neville. Carry hard.
Boom, he's gone and done it.
Then
Hold on, you can't even finish the question
I
off.
said you can.
Jesus.
That was risky because I could have said double backflip.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
let me finish the question. Who is credited as being the first person to pull off a backflip on a full-size dirt bike?
Carry hard.
Carry Hart. Final score then for the first ever Dirt Brains. Sorry, Neil. 2-5 to Nev. Our champion over there.
He was.
Nev
Mexico
Bradshaw.
was after him, wasn't he? I was going to
Yeah.
argue then with you. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
after him.
Mexico
Except
was
Gary
well
Hart
done,
did it.
Neville.
I'll give you a hug.
I'd shake your hand,
but
but
we got this in the way, so can't show no emotion.
No emotion. It's all.
So that's
all
the
business.
go in year 125 then, is it? Another go. So I've got 2
Another
days
go.
in year 125 now because
Well,
I think our
I
last
don't
bet's
think
not
that was
looking
the
good for either.
stipulations at the start of the game.
Your last bet's not looking good either at the minute.
Right, so that's Dirt Brains. That about wraps us up here for Hang Time Live number 2, the second time we've ever done Hang Time. Neil,
Yeah.
Nev, thanks for coming along. Anything else to plug before we go?
We're not answering questions.
I'm looking at the questions now. You two talk between
Get me
yourselves
a
for
answer
now.
question.
Chat between yourselves, I'm just going to find the questions.
You've heard our chat, dude. You don't want to have that live on TV.
I think I need to do the questions next time and like make them like super hard vintage questions.
Get JP on it. You'll get you some good questions.
Yeah, he would actually. He'd be on it. He'd research it like flat out.
We should get JP on here.
We should.
Get JP as a guest.
Yeah, get him on it.
JP,
talking.
for people that don't know, is... Explain.
Won Canada Heights back in 1999. Class beat everybody that day.
He
Like-
said he won... Did he win a championship, like a 4-stroke championship, or...?
He won the under 21s,
youth,
I
I'm
think.
sure we won youth.
I think
Yes,
under
we won
21s,
the
I think champion. I think.
beer drinking champion.
Beer drinking champ. We got a few comments about the earlier discussion about greatest rider of all time. Phil GH says James Stewart. Do we argue with that? Greatest rider of all time?
Nah,
or
he's
I'd say
definitely-
probably most talented rider of all
He's
time.
definitely in there. He changed motocross, James Stewart did.
Do you look at what?
He was an option. Oh, he was in your group.
He was in my group. I picked
Okay.
Pastrana over Bubba. Probably
Yeah,
an
but
oversight, to be fair.
Pastrana, like if you go anywhere, James Stewart's well known, but if you go anywhere in America and say Travis Pastrana
yeah.
in Walmart,
He's-
they'll be like, oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seen his
James
video.
Stewart as well, close, but like
Maybe, yeah,
Pastrana's
James
well
Stewart
known.
maybe 2009 you might have had that, but Pastrana still.
Yeah, but
Still
Pastrana's
still
like,
for
he's
sale.
reached like a much broader audience in the stuff he does, you know. But as far as dirt bike riders, man, there will never be another James Stewart, I think.
And Pastrana can still bang the laps in now.
Yeah, yeah.
We got another guy said Roxon. I mean, after the weekend.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from Ken. Like he's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
he's an unbelievable
but,
rider.
You know, like if you compare his career path to say a Ricky Carmichael or even a Ryan Dungey or a Villapoto, you know, like
Yeah.
the potential for Ken is there every time he lines up. You know, like he's an unbelievable rider. But I guess you could say the same about Tomac. You know, he's fine. You know, he had a few years where things didn't go great, and now he's kind of sorted. It might be like that for Ken, where he has a spell of 2 or 3 years where he wins everything because the potential for it is there. But where he is now compared to those guys,
Well, if you look at just on pure wins, right? Tomac is now, I think, number 5 ever.
yeah,
But he's never won a Supercross
he
championship.
wins a lot though. Tomac, eh?
He's just overtaken or tied Dungey
Yeah.
for Supercross wins, and Dungey's a 4-time champion.
How far is it behind Chad Reed now? Must be about 10.
I think Chad Reed's on 43 or 44. I know
Interesting.
McGrath's is 72, Stewart's 50, RC's 48. I think Reed might be 44.
Okay.
I think with Ken
I
Roxon,
think.
one thing people are missing, you know, from what I see is they're in one of them riders we mentioned never had to come through what he's come through.
That since 17.
Like
Yeah.
what the damage he did in his arm. Like I haven't really had a big injury. I did do last year where I had to have some metal work in my body and a bit of work done. It's still not right now, but it's made me realise that some people when they have an injury, it's a lot to go. You look like Dean Wilson comes through, like what he's had. You know, he's an unfortunate rider. He's a good kid, good rider, but with Ken, you know, like that boy is lucky. Like he's
Lucky that
amazing,
now.
actually,
Yeah.
what he's even doing now.
He's almost
Yeah,
had
it's
to
easy to forget, isn't it?
he's had to
Yeah.
adapt
Yeah.
the way he rides a motorbike, to ride a motorbike. I think it could have been quite easy for him to say it's not possible, I'm not going to do it, but you know, he's changed the way he rides. You know, like when you can see, like he can't even do like his shirt up.
Yeah.
You know, to ride a motorbike, it's
Yeah, it's easy to kind of forget that or overlook that for what we was even talking about earlier about
yeah.
why
but
was
like,
he better on the weekend.
Yeah.
Say so it is easy to
The
forget.
stats are the stats, though. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that doesn't say next to anyone's name what they went through.
Yeah,
At the
exactly.
end of the day, it's,
At the end of the day,
They've all been through big injuries, like
Yeah.
Tomac has with his shoulder. And I think I was watching a video of a little one the other day where Tomac did both his shoulders. I don't think I've seen that speed he had that day, and up till that day. because
He's
won.
got scary speed on his day.
Yeah, he won about 4 or 5 races. There was one at Glen Helen where he beat Dungey by like 45 seconds in both races. And they interviewed Dungey at the end, and they were like, what are we going to do here? And then he was going at speed.
The one that stands out in my head from Tomac is when they had the Designations in Latvia.
Yeah, second race.
He was jumping the braking bumps into the berms and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, man. But the thing is, when that goes wrong, it goes wrong in a big way, doesn't it?
And I think even with Kenny, you see when he rode for RCH, it's very easy to forget. I know you can't look in what was in the past, but if you look at Kenny when he rode the Suzuki back in for RCH, like he had some blinding speed on that thing.
He won 2 outdoor national championships on that bike.
And when he hurt himself, he was also
one, and then one on the KTM, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Before he hurt himself, he was also tramping. And
I
think
come back to that.
Technically,
there's no one. Technically, the way Ken rides a bike, there's no one close to him. Like when you see the stuff he does when he stands up through, when he sits through turns with his leg on, feeling the pegs, and the momentum he carries doing that. And just the way, like, he's very, like, almost like a French rider, how they're so precise and they get stuff, like, really good. But it's, man, like, you look on the weekend and just a pure desire from Cooper Webb and, that goes a long way. I think sometimes the heart of a rider and the will to win can sometimes override, like, a natural talent sometimes,
With Cooper under had a DNF, like he did when he crashed,
he'd be on the championship.
It would be like
10
points probably, or even less.
And even him at the start of the year, like it wasn't looking too golden from him after the first 2 rounds. But like a true champion, they know it's there and they just keep working until it comes good. So I say fair play to the guy.
Yeah, I think
Cooper as well.
Cooper, I rate Cooper this season.
He's one of those guys. Like you'll see guys through your whole life, like a Kudrowski or LaRocco or loads of guys. He's one of those guys that at the end of the race. He's going to be pushing until the finish.
No matter what.
And I think it's quite a good trait for a rider to have. Like you said about Pastrana going to those races and someone coming to watch and someone doesn't give 100%. Cooper Webb, I think, is the guy.
It earns your respect and earns your fans, doesn't it?
100%.
All right, so let's wrap up the show there. Thank you, Nev. Thank you, Neil, for coming.
No problem.
Check out Nev on Instagram at NevSir272. It's popping at the moment, isn't it? Go big on Instagram. Neil, still don't have Instagram. Still don't have Facebook.
No.
Just you'll catch them at the track when we go racing again. Thanks guys for coming along. To end out the show, we're going to have a little preview of the upload that is going to go live on this channel on Thursday. So let's jump into that. It's a little behind the scenes of what me and Nev got up to the other week at DMP. So if Phil was in the booth and got it lined up, we should be seeing that now.
Like I reckon we start off here somewhere, I reckon.
This corner?
Yeah, like left-hander and right-hander, that's the best place to start.
Enjoy that, we'll see you in a couple of laps.
Oh, sweet. I'll cut the track and come back around, right?
Yeah, sweet. That's the ticket, mate.
You reckon?
The system's sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool.
What's up guys, welcome to Doncaster Motor Park. We've got a busy day planned here at Doncaster, our first day back on the cameras, back at the track after lockdown. So what are we going to do? We've got the cameras, we've got the KTM 2020 KTM 125, we've got Nev Bradshaw over there, our 2-stroke hero. Nev's going to be ripping on the 125 all day. We're going to be filming on that, making a sick 2-stroke video like you guys know we do. We're going to be doing a full review of this as well, so that's 2 videos, raw 2-stroke video, 125 test, come with me. We've also got some other stuff going on as well that we're trying to test out and experiment with today. The first thing we've got is in here in the van, the Cardo Pack Talk Bold system. So this is a new system we're trying out today for the first time, where this is my headset. We're going to put a headset up in, rig a headset up in Nev's helmet, and I'm going to be able to talk to him all day with the Cardo Pack Talk Bold system. So Nev, do that again. Go inside, hit that jump, scrub, whip. So I'm going to be able to direct him properly with this setup. It's also perfect for like trainers, coaches, mechanics, if you need to talk to your riders. So yeah, we're going to have a review of this later on in this video. Also, this guy over here is Dan Farron, Mr. Joe Man.
Right guys,
we've got some stuff here, fancy new gear. Dan's mega drones, super drones, what are we calling them, Dan? FPV racer drones. So
my FPV filming bad boys.
We're going to be playing with the FPV drones today for the first time at the track at DMP. Sun's out, going to be a beautiful day, so let's rock it. Let's get to the track, let's go.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know he was going to go straight. Dude, that was so sick.
That's fucking crazy, man.
How fun is that? Yes, that's what we're talking about.
That's gnarly, eh?
Yes, that's the one.
That's 125 style there.
The back end stepped out big time.
Yeah, it was naughty, man. I felt that. So much fun riding 125s, man.
Are you just burying it into the deep stuff on this quarter?
I'm like hitting that little berm and then going to that powdery stuff now, so I think.
Let's do a couple of this because it looks quite cool how we wheeling down the drop.